Monday Night Raw, go home show to WrestleMania, and the WWE Championship picture is looking really tasty. Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, all ready for their clash at WrestleMania on Saturday night, and we're going to talk about it in just a second, so stay tuned. This is your Raw review. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are talking about Monday Night Raw, the go-home show to WrestleMania. It was a better Raw than last week, but it wasn't really a go-home show in terms of the element of the go-home show. It didn't really feel like we've got a massive pay-per-view happening over the weekend, but it is what it is. The pay-per-view is more or less decided in terms of the matches that's going to happen. So yeah, we're going to just see how it goes. And I'm still looking forward to WrestleMania. Of course, it's WrestleMania. But this Raw was better than last week, which is a start. We're going to get into everything that happened in just a second. But before we do, remember, right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that is WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into Monday Night Raw review. The show opened up with Drew McIntyre coming down to the ring, and Drew McIntyre cut an impassioned promo talking about all the things he sacrificed. You know, he's coming back to the main event of WrestleMania like he was in last year, and what he sacrificed to get to this point, including just everything he sacrificed in his career, getting fired, coming back, his mum being unwell, and him not being able to go home. Basically, his mom said, stay where you are, this is your dream. He got a bit choked up while he was delivering this, which was nice to see, but kind of did interrupt the flow of the promo. We saw that the Hurt Business guys, the remaining Hurt Business guys, Bobby Lashley, MVP, they came out to the ringside area, coming down the entranceway. Bobby Lashley said, look, Drew, you were a great champion, but your time's up. It's the almighty era, etc., etc. I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre, very angry, saying that, calm down, get in the ring, and let's go now. Let's not wait till Saturday. Let's fight now. MVP was protecting his guy, Bobby Lashley, by saying, no, this match is going to wait until WrestleMania. We're not having anything that resembles a match right now. Baron Corbin did also come out during this part and said that, yeah, Drew, I don't know why you're talking about WrestleMania, because you're not going to get there, because on the night, Drew and Baron Corbin had a match. So, yeah, kind of fiery way to start off Raw, but we know these two are going to go at it. There's no physicality or anything to kind of push the story forward. So the segment kind of falls flat in that respect. But just a good way to kind of get us hyped for their Mania match and what they both have coming up on the night. So that was Drew McIntyre opening the show. First match on the card for the night was AJ Styles versus Xavier Woods. This was a rematch for their match last week, which obviously got thrown out because Omos got involved. This match didn't last particularly long at all. Both men got a couple moves in. AJ Styles and a bit of the ascendancy. We saw Kofi Kingston walk over to Omos at ringside. He said something to him. He said, you gave us your best shot and we still got back up. Basically, you have no chance in anything. He threw a microphone at Omos, which Omos completely no-sold, just hit the ground and broke afterwards. Kofi Kingston ran through the ring, almost got up on the apron, I believe, and that caused a distraction for AJ Styles. And then AJ Styles was rolled up by Xavier Woods. So New Day got the win here. I think this kind of, what's the word? It gave us a look into what, was going to happen at WrestleMania. We all probably believe that Omos and AJ Styles will win the tag team championships at WrestleMania. So Xavier Woods / New Day were getting their win here, if you like. But yeah, very, very straightforward stuff. This has been an amusing feud sort of thing. It's been quite funny in places. Very interested to see come WrestleMania what Omos can actually do in the ring. What's his moveset gonna be like? Can he move fluently as well? Is he gonna give us the typical kind of WWE big man style? So yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to at Mania. Next up on the show, we had Braun Strowman come out, and Braun Strowman was in the ring, and he was in the cage. So obviously, he's gonna have Shane McMahon in a steel cage match next. I say next week at WrestleMania. Anafi, morning, bro. Anafi's in the comments. Big up Rest Things every time. He said he's looking forward to the match. Almost finisher has to be a choke slam. Yeah, they need to bring back the choke slam. It's something that we see a lot. We see kind of guys do sit down choke slam. I think Damian Priest, T-Bar, or Dominic Dijakovic, that he has like a rendition of like a sit down choke slam sort of thing. But yeah, they need to just bring back a good old choke slam. But who knows with these guys? Maybe they take it out of people's movesets now because of kids and kids trying stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Omos's moveset is. So yeah, like we were saying, Braun Strowman is selling the fact he's in a cage. He's got a cage match with Shane McMahon coming up at WrestleMania. And he's saying that he's not just basically doing this for himself. He's doing this for all the people around the world that were told they weren't going to amount to nothing, that they were stupid and this, that, and the other. So all of a sudden, this has turned into an anti-bullying campaign. Shane McMahon came out, and Shane McMahon was very much like, that, yeah, I'm not an ordinary man, I'm a Mac man, that you're not going to outwit me, I'm still going to beat you despite you making a good choice of the stipulation being a steel cage match. So yeah, Shane McMahon then sent out his goons in the shape of Jackson Riker and Elias. These guys had a 2-on-1 handicap match against Braun Strowman where no tags were necessary, just both men in the ring against Braun Strowman at one time. They looked like chumps, like I'm sure a lot of us could have assumed. And we saw Braun Strowman get the win, double pinning them at the end of the match. Shane McMahon, who watched the whole match from the entranceway, looked pretty scared, seeing that Braun Strowman put these guys away pretty easily, looking like he's already regretting his decision to have this match with Braun Strowman. This feud has just been kind of slapped together, not really looking forward to it like that, I can't lie, but I think Shane McMahon tends to always give us a really good WrestleMania match. And they've obviously got the steel cage element in there, something for Shane to jump off. Will we see a diving elbow? Will we see a coast to coast? Will we see a shooting star press from the top of the cage? Because you never know with Shane. But yeah, it's gonna be very entertaining, whatever we get from these guys. Anafi says in the comments, Shane will deliver at WrestleMania, Braun 2. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the feud, the build up, and even not even just for these guys, a lot of these matches, the build up just hasn't been great, but the match will be, better than the build up, and put Shane McMahon in a stipulation match, with a structure to jump off, and yeah, it's gonna be something serious. I trust Shane McMahon. Just put it that way. I trust Shane. Right, next up on the show, we had women's tag action. So Raw Women's Champion Asuka was teaming with Rhea Ripley. They were going against the women's tag champions, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. So, we complained about this last week. Again, them just booking the Raw Women's Champion and her feuds into tag matches with the tag champions. Very, very lazy way of making a build. However, we did see something that kind of spiced up the angle within this match. We saw very early on that Rhea Ripley and Asuka weren't getting on at all throughout this match, and Rhea Ripley kind of didn't want any part to do with the opening stages of this match. Maybe she wanted Asuka to get softened up for their WrestleMania match, which totally makes sense. Eventually she did get involved in a match, and even when she went to make a tag back to Asuka kind of gave her a mouthful before accepting the tag and running riot in the ring. As these matches do involving the women's tag champions, Reginald got involved, and Reginald caused a bit of a distraction. In the end, we saw Rhea Ripley outside deliver a move to her tag partner, Asuka, and she rolled Asuka back into the ring afterwards to get attacked by Shayna Baszler, and Shayna Baszler pinned the Raw Women's Champion. Now, thank you for respecting Shayna Baszler finally. Um, I think I was gonna do a post today. I think I had put out that that's something that showed Shayna Baszler's record of 2021 so far, and it does not read pretty. I mean, a quick segue. I think that the women's tag champions are gonna drop the titles at WrestleMania. There will be a women's tag gauntlet on night 1, and then on night 2, we're gonna see the winners of the gauntlet take on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the tag championships. I think Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler have done a brilliant job carrying these titles and just making themselves relevant, despite some 50-50 kind of booking with them. I do think they need to return Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax to the singles women's division. Whoever's gonna walk out of the match at WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley or Asuka as champion, they're gonna need challengers. Charlotte may be back by then. I guess we will see. But Shayna Baszler is definitely someone that can be challenging someone for the Raw Women's Championship. So is Nia Jax at this point, because although Shayna Baszler has been taking all the pins, Nia Jax has actually been getting all of their wins, apart from this one. So yeah, I think that they really need to put these two back into that division to bulk it up a bit. Maybe we'll see some people from NXT come up after WrestleMania as well, some women. So that'll be very interesting. But and at the end of the day, in this match, Rhea Ripley basically screwed Asuka to get the win. It'll be very interesting. I think we all kind of jumped when we saw Rhea Ripley coming up to say that Rhea Ripley will win this match at WrestleMania against Asuka. But a lot of people, online and stuff, thinking that Asuka may get the victory here, that, this is going to be a very face heavy, wins at WrestleMania because it's the first time that a crowd is back. They want a lot of cheers, they want a lot of pops. So Rhea Ripley may not actually win. And I think if Rhea Ripley doesn't win at WrestleMania, that will be 2 WrestleManias back to back where she's, had the opportunity to retain or win a championship and she hasn't. And it will be kind of a waste of her debut if she doesn't beat Asuka. Like I say, I understand the thinking. If she doesn't beat Asuka, they want a crowd pop for maybe every match at WrestleMania because it's the first WrestleMania back with fans, the first show back with fans since the pandemic. But yeah, I think this could be really detrimental if Rhea Ripley doesn't win at WrestleMania. Let me know what you guys think about that. But next up on the show, we had a segment including Bad Bunny and Miz and furthering their feud. I'm going to get onto that in just a second. Guys, please make sure you have liked this video. If you're watching, it does a lot for the channel. We thoroughly appreciate it every time you guys do. It lets more people see this video. So please, if you haven't, smash the like button. Thank you very much. Next up on the show, well, in over 2 or 3 parts during the show, we saw Miz and Morrison backstage with buckets of paint. And after we saw Bad Bunny rolling in this £3.6 million or $1 million Bugatti, we knew where the paint was going. Miz and Morrison took what I can only assume is obviously washable paint onto this Bugatti, ruined Bad Bunny's Bugatti. Bad Bunny eventually came back and saw this. When he was looking at the mess, he got jumped by Miz and Morrison. They beat him up. And then eventually, Adam Pearce, backstage officials, Damian Priest ran off Miz and Morrison. Miz and Morrison then went to the, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest then went to the ring, and Damian Priest said, look, you guys wanted some type of 2-on-1 advantage, or maybe at WrestleMania, let's match this up. 2 versus 2, a regular tag match. Miz and Morrison versus Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. And by satellite or they were backstage or whatever, Miz and Morrison accepted. So Miz and Bad Bunny's singles match at WrestleMania has turned into a tag match, which we assumed we were going to get in the first place. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison. So that was their little segment for the night. Next up on the show, we actually saw Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin kind of batting up MVP backstage. MVP thought that these guys came to ask for their position in Hurt Business back, but Cedric Alexander says that, you're ungrateful, you're washed up, this, that, and the other to MVP. Really strong words, saying to MVP that Bobby Lashley wouldn't be champion without Cedric and Shelton, and that he hopes that Drew McIntyre kicks his face off at WrestleMania. And he said, even if I don't beat Bobby Lashley tonight, which was the next match on the card, that he wants to leave a scar on Bobby Lashley that basically Drew McIntyre can take the advantage of in their WrestleMania match. So really strong words by Shelton and Cedric Alexander. I wouldn't mind a scenario coming out of the Hurt Business where Cedric Alexander is the active competitor and Shelton Benjamin is his MVP, if you see what I mean, his kind of manager and like ringside consultant, if you like. Again, when this match was going to start, Bobby Lashley and Cedric Alexander, before the bell, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander both jumped Bobby Lashley, kind of getting an advantage, a bit of a 2-on-1 advantage. MVP was very confident. He was on commentary saying that, this won't last very long. And he did see Bobby Lashley kind of fight his way back into it, threw Shelton out the ring, and then the match officially started. Cedric had some good spots in this match, trying to get some offense in on Lashley, but we all knew that Lashley was eventually going to overpower him, which he did, put Cedric Alexander in the hurt lock, and Cedric Alexander tapped out. Shelton Benjamin came into the ring straight after. He put Shelton Benjamin into the hurt lock as well, and yeah, left these two lying. He's done with Hurt Business now, stood tall, looking into the camera, obviously sending a message to Drew McIntyre in the process. Jonesy chats wrestling in the chat. Morning, Jonesy. He says, morning, bro. Horrible Raw. I think it was better than last week. It wasn't a go-home show standard by any means, but it was better than last week, I have to say. He says, what do you make of the new team of Carmella and Billie Kay? Hopefully they win the belts at WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean, it looks that way, doesn't it? It does look that way. I don't mind them. I'm fans of both women. It still comes to beg the question why they ever split the Iconics if they're still just putting Peyton Royce and Billie Kay in their individual kind of tag teams, and then at the same time, it's like, okay, you found space for Carmella, but honestly, where is Bayley? Like, how are we leaving Bayley off this WrestleMania card? The one woman that worked relentlessly through 2020, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, I don't mind Carmella and Billie Kay. I think the winners is probably out of them or Lana and Naomi. That's who I think is going to win the women's tag championships when it's all said and done. Next up, we had a match between Riddle and Mustafa Ali. Sheamus approached Mustafa Ali backstage before this match, basically asking him to, soften up Riddle for their match at WrestleMania for the US Championship. Ali and Riddle put on a really good match, really, really fun match. Again, a shame that the likes of Ali, Ricochet, these guys aren't on the WrestleMania card. It's like so many names, but I know there can't be space for everyone. But yeah, big talents that are being left off. These guys put on a really good match. Towards the end, you saw that the finish was coming because Riddle was kind of powering up, letting off all of his signature moves, and then put away Ali with the Bro Derek. I wish he continued to do the Bro Derek. I can't remember who it was to. He done it to I think it was Ali. In fact, he done the Bro Derek to Ali a couple of weeks ago off like the middle rope, and it made that move look a whole lot more effective. I wish this was the case, that he continued to do it off the middle rope, because I don't buy into it from the ground. It just looks a bit rubbish. But yeah, he gets the win over Ali here and stares down Sheamus, who was on commentary. Sheamus got up on the announcer's table. He's shouting that he's going to win at Mania. Riddle is going to, saying the same thing, that he's going to win at Mania. And I think it's just really interesting to have this dynamic. I'm not really too sure who is going to win that Mania out of these two. Sheamus did beat Riddle last week, so maybe he's got his win there. But I guess we will see. Last but not least, we had Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin. A pretty decent match. You know, I always say Baron Corbin's a pretty decent performer. Like, no thrills per se, but he'll always give you a decent match if put in there with someone good as well. And him and Drew McIntyre told a really good story. Obviously, again, this was Drew McIntyre just to look good before WrestleMania. This was more of a challenge, I think, than Bobby Lashley versus Cedric Alexander for Drew. Um, and in the end, MVP that was back on commentary was really telling Baron Corbin, you know, you have a job to do here. Hurt Drew McIntyre. That was his whole MO. And Baron Corbin eventually, after being helped by MVP, had MVP's cane, tried to take it to Drew McIntyre's head. Drew ducked out of the way and then delivered the Claymore kick for the 1-2-3. Drew McIntyre wins, heading into WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley comes out to end the show. Drew and Bobby are staring at each other from a distance. Drew in the ring, Bobby Lashley from the entranceway, staring down each other as the commentators sell us on, you know, the main event. I don't think that's even quite decided yet, but the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. Now, I did see something online of, I think it was yesterday, of Drew McIntyre saying he wants to open the show. He wants to open WrestleMania 37 on Saturday night with Bobby Lashley, which could be a decent position for that match as well. To be honest, I think that I'm happy for that, because I still think that Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks should be the main event, despite the lackluster story told. Bianca Belair won the Royal Rumble, which should make her the main event. Simple as. But yeah, I think Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley could be a very good start to the show. And Drew obviously wants that responsibility of getting the crowd hype and all of that kind of stuff for the night ahead, or the 2 nights ahead. So I'm completely down with that. I'm looking forward to that. Jonesy Chats Wrestling in the chat. He says Riddle's winning at Mania. Yeah, that looks very likely. That looks like very likely, despite the brilliant work Sheamus has been doing in the past, 6 to 10 months. Sheamus kind of got his win, 2 weeks ago on Raw, so it's not looking that way. But yeah, guys, that is your Raw Go Home show. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, looking very spicy, looking like Drew McIntyre is about to win. We've just said now that maybe Riddle's gonna win. Who's gonna win the women's championship match, Rhea Ripley or Asuka? In my opinion, Rhea Ripley cannot afford to lose this match. I know they want to have a feel-good WrestleMania in front of crowds and loads of cheers, loads of pops. Rhea Ripley's a heel, but Rhea Ripley cannot afford to lose this match. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Guys, I just released a video yesterday, top 5 WrestleMania main events. Make sure you go and show that one some love. And I've also got a video out of Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair and why they should main event WrestleMania. So check that out. Wrestle Extra later on today, 6:30 p.m. UK time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So check that out as well. And a whole load of videos coming for the rest of this week in anticipation of WrestleMania. Please make sure you've liked the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. And I'll see you later on today. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.